Good evening. Yeah, nobody does a sweater vest. Like Papa does a sweater vest. Chris Evans, Captain America. He made the news recently because he was at a TV awards show, maybe the Emmys. I'm not up with the pop culture. But at some big deal like that, he made the news because he gave his arm in a gentlemanly fashion to the venerable and aged Betty White, as she was called up for a Lifetime Achievement Award. So Captain America was being all chivalrous. It went over big, right? He is a handsome, clean-cut American stallion. And he just kind of stooped over, put out his arm. She was charmed and delighted. The crowd was charmed and delighted. Most of social media was charmed and delighted. And I posted a GIF of the moment at my blog, Joffrey the Giant. And I kind of made a comment as I posted it that saying basically, before you boo-hoo this, just remember that chivalry needs to be modeled. I guess I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And to talk about the dark thing in all of us that keeps us from visible public acts of chivalry or charity or many other virtues. There's a sort of false modesty and a sort of jealousy with which we attack people who do good things in public. And part of it, as Christians look at the New Testament, they see that Christians are encouraged to pray in a closet and not ostentatiously out in the open, showing everyone how holy they are. We are shown examples in which the Pharisees give mightily, but only a tiny amount of what they earn. But then there's the widow's mites, and the poor widow gave just 2 pennies, but those 2 pennies meant so much because they meant a lot to her. So we have this instinct against ostentation, and it is correct to reject ostentation. But it so happens that deeds of light happen in public all the time, what with the light going out into the darkness and all. Right? So Jesus saves the adulteress and condemns those who are running after her by pointing out their hypocrisy, and he does it in a very public way. Jesus heals in a very public way. Right? He destroys the ostentation of the Pharisees, but then he very lavishly, publicly, generously, in front of all, does other and better deeds of goodness. But there's this kind of instinct to avoid ostentation, which we frame it with this idea that we're avoiding being pious or virtuous or good in public because our reward is in heaven. When in fact our motivation is a much darker one. We're looking for excuses not to do good. And we don't want people to think we're hypocrites. We don't want people to think we're Pharisees or some form of that. And that stops us from doing good. How hypocritical is that? Now, why am I talking about this? Because my first thought when I read this story about Captain America, Chris Evans, was I probably would not have gotten up and offered my arm because everyone would have thought I was just doing it for the attention, that I was just doing it for the publicity. And one of the things that's actually saying is, I would think you were doing this for the publicity. I would think I am doing this for the publicity. Because I do have this selfish urge, right? I want to be praised by those around me. But the bottom line is, chivalries and charities and all sorts of other good deeds of light often come out. And should be modeled. And that's just straight up how it is, right? Now, we shouldn't be twisting that. We shouldn't be twisting gifts of God into something else entirely through which we can rule and dominate others, which is what the Pharisees were doing. But we should never, and forget national TV, right? You are walking down Main Street in your town, and you have an opportunity to help a little old lady across the street. In this age, that is such a rare thing that people will think, look at that dude just showing off. But you, as that dude, should just do it. And I should just do it. We should applaud people like Chris Evans for just doing that. I guess thus endeth the lesson. Kind of fun when a Hollywood star can expose my own hypocrisy. Drop some comments. Let me know if this is something that have you ever been stopped from doing a good deed because you thought people might question your motivations? Oh, what a hypocrisy. Bet you have. Would love to hear about it. I have. I'm telling you about it now. And it's something that we should stop doing. When it occurs to us to do a big and noble deed, let's just do the big and noble deed. Not worry about what other people think of us. Not worry about whether we're forfeiting our award in heaven. But just trust that God's grace covers us. That the grace of Jesus covers us at all times, even when we're doing good for less than pure reasons. If we know it's a good thing to do, we just do it. All right. Peace be upon you, people. Have a great week. Hope you had a great Sunday. Later.